Welcome to this channel. The channel is for education and culture based on historical and scientific evidence. So yesterday, I have discussions with our Wing Chun friends. And when it gets to the topic of Wing Chun, ancient Wing Chun is an art which is recite or action 0 to about 40 centimeters away from your opponent. Many think this is an interpretation. Okay. So if you are Wing Chun in ancient, the real Wing Chun, you will fight within the 40 centimeter if you use your opponent as 0 centimeter. That is the sticking body short strike. And many of our Wing Chun friends thinking, oh, that's just your interpretations and so forth, so forth, so forth. So today I like to share with you. I want to clean this thing about interpretations, get it out from Wing Chun once for all, for those who really like to study Wing Chun. Now, we need to understand Chinese culture. Where is this so-called interpretations in the past 140 years come in? So we want to look at the root of what is going on. So to really understand Chinese culture, Chinese art, like martial art, like painting, like music, so forth, so forth, so forth, like Qigong, so forth, so forth, so forth, we need to know a term in Chinese called huo. Huo means life. Okay, something alive. So the martial art is something alive. The painting is something alive. The Xiu Lim Tao is something alive. That is what the ancient Chinese the content of their arts. So it is life. Life means it is beyond thinking. Well, it is not philosophy like thinking today, people think. The philosophy and thinking today is very westernized mindset. That's not Chinese. So if you say, for example, in Wing Chun, you took Xiu Lim Tao, the set Xiu Lim Tao, it is an alive art. If you take that as a philosophy, a thinking, you're dead because you completely lost it. So I give you an example now here. What do you mean by Xiu Lim Tao is alive? Well, everybody here doing Xiu Lim Tao set, right? So say you do the Yatan San Fuk. And then in the Xiu Lim Tao, you always, after you do the Yatan San Fuk, you always have to put your hand back there for a while. So you do your left hand side, and then you do your right hand side. Now let me ask you questions. How long do you have to put your hand on rest, both hand on rest, before you start another side? You do the left side, and then you put your hand at rest, and then you do another side. How long do you have to do that? Well, you can check for past 140 years in the history of Wing Chun. Nobody tell you that. That's top evidence. Now, so why it is important that you have to know how long is the time you put your hand and your body at rest before you start your right side, after you do the left side? Well, because if you have already learned, master the 6 core elements of the Xiu Lim Tao, you know that you have to adjust it at every day, every conditions. When you are too tired, you want to put it longer in the rest before you start on the practice of the right side. If that day you just sparring with somebody and you get punched in your chest, and when you do the Yat Tham San Phục, yes, this can actually unblock your chi in your chest when you get struck. It can do that. But you need to know how long you want to stay in the rest. So let the chi nurture, and then let the situations or the disturbance in the chi resting before you do another tuning to dissolve the chi blockage. So is there any rule that I have to do left side and then I stop for 30 seconds and then do the right side? It is all based on the situations. So that's called a life. Now you drop that into, the Yat Tham San Phục, that is the internal practice of Wing Chun. And you put in your mind power, whatever power, your spine power, your lifting energy, everything inside there. You're killing that thing. They just tell people that, tell the ancient that you do not understand, you do not know what is Xiu Lim Tao practice is about. So now you turn into a philosophy, a thinking. Now, if you are doing it alive, like, okay, I get sparring, I get hit on my chest, take a strike. So I use the Yat Tham San Phục. I am actually starting the flow of my hand, 3 yin meridians outward and 3 yang go inward to try to dissolve this blockage of chi here. I need to have a feedback there when I'm doing that. And it's not just my my body, the timing, my breathing, everything there. That's why it calls Xiu Lim Tao, the leader training. The leader is the essence of detailed training. That means I have handling on all these things, the 6 core elements, and it is alive. It is, when I get struck, I use that Yat Tham San Phục to penetrate the blockage, and then I rest to nurture chi. It's like the water pipe. You send water to penetrate the blockage, and then you let the water flow in the proper state. That's called a life. It's not philosophy. It's not predetermined philosophy. It's not a thinking. So the ancient, when it teaches a student on Xiu Lim Tao, it teaches all this handling. So it's like driving a car. It teach you the basic, and then you practice to drive the car, and then you go to highway, you can drive in all situations. Driving a car is not philosophy. That's what Xiu Lim Tao is. So if you practice that way, you really be able to handle the Xiu Lim Tao after you learn it. Then you can describe your practice as it is. And every case by case is different, day by day is different, depending on what you want to do about it. If you don't have that, you get into this philosophy, my Sifu tell me this, I think so. Well, that is get into the interpretation, and there's I think so, I believe so, my way. And sorry to say, you completely miss what the ancient Chinese is presenting. Because you have a dead stuff, a dead movement, a dead sequence of movement, like a dance, which is you are following. And then you say, well, I want it my way. Well, your way or my way, as soon as it is in this philosophy and interpretation, disregard of your way or my way is still a dance, a movement, choreography. It got nothing to do with the life of Xiu Lim Tao, where I can use it. If I get struck in the sparring, I can use that thing to dissolve that chi blockage. If I am after dissolve the chi blockage, I figure out that I do not have enough energy to balance myself, then I get into the nurture chi. I need to charge, like for example, if you have the battery and you use the battery to resolve the resistance in the circuits, and after that, your battery level, your battery energy level is low. You need to charge your battery. That's a life. We don't even talk about fighting thing yet. Just the basic handling. So stop to get this past 140 years of my interpretation, my way, my belief. My Sifu said, my grandmaster said, my lineage said, and everything like the Chinese say, kok si, kok fat. Every teacher teach differently. Stop on that. If you really want to know what is Wing Chun, what is Xiu Lim Tao. Because if you can continue argue here, the more you argue, the more people will know that you don't know. So why is it today there's so much interpretation stuff? Because it's a bad education. For past 140 years, there is no proper education of presenting what the ancient Chinese is teaching. It's everybody is, I think so, I believe so, my way. And you can see even there are people who don't teach, who just get his student to guess whatever it is and say, oh, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. So that's why you end up with a disaster like today. Now, there are 3 disasters, very fatal misinformations based on this interpretation stuff today. These 3 fatal misinformation, if it is not cleaned up from Wing Chun, there's no Wing Chun. Don't kid ourselves. We might not know there's no Wing Chun. Like the guy tried to steal a bell by closing the ear, steal the bell. But guess what? The entire world knows. Okay? So let's go through the three things. If you really want to study Wing Chun, you drop those misinformations once for all. Or else you'll never learn anything. And you're going to contribute to this philosophy. I think so, I believe so. Tao, everything is vague. And then yin and yang or internal, which is nonsense. So the first thing is the mindset. The first thing really, really critical in Wing Chun is the mindset. If the mindset of a Wing Chuner is not proper, you can guarantee he is not going to learn anything proper. So the mindset is like this. In the Wing Chun version 1960, you can hear like in the movie say that animosity, Wing Chun used this as a slogan. This is the mindset. They put into the movie in 1970s, everybody take that as real. So guess what? You end up one lineage fighting another lineage. One classmate in the same school fighting another classmate. And it end up that everybody is bad-mouthing everybody. Because of this. And then they say, oh, this is from Shaolin. This is the writing of the Shaolin sword strike. Okay, this is the summary of it. You say here. You must not have those kinds of animosity or hatred when you practice the art. So, the Shaolin, it is a Buddhist art. It is a real martial art based on general Qi Ji Guang. You can use it in a real fight. Tell you, you must not have those hatred or animosity mindset there. Why? In the real war, you are not going to get into emotional because your opponent will play your emotion. And another thing is, when you get emotions, your body is not going to get balanced. Your chi flow, everything, when you get this hatred, right away you can feel your chest is going to go stuffy, and due to your liver chi and your heart chi, you get all kinds of problems there. So the first thing is the mindset. Never is this animosity or hatred stuff. Or else you're going to screw your body and you're going to do fighting with your classmate, one lineage fighting with a classmate, another lineage and everything, bad-mouthing, bad-mouth that, and completely mess up the entire thing. Why? Because it is the wrong mindset. Yes, it is wrong because Shaolin told you black and white. But you use a movie to send it up to the entire world to drug everybody into a wrong direction. So that is fatal. Fatal mindset. Okay. You want to study the Shaolin martial art, study Zen properly. Okay. And hatred is one of the toxic the three poisons: greed, hatred, ignorance. There are three toxic. Hatred is one of the toxic, the poison. So are you going to get all the Wing Chuners to take poison? Now, the second thing. The second fatal misleading is about the Chinese history. Today's Wing Chun history, you have the Shaolin Temple. This is a Ji Sim Xin Si. Sim Si means Zen master. He studied Zen. I just tell you about Zen, Shaolin, Zen, okay? Ji Sim. So he's from Shaolin Temple. He studied Zen. And then there Mui Si Tai, he's always like a nun or the monk in the Shaolin Temple. And then he come down there and then going to the Red Junk, the Red Boat Opera. And then you start to see here Liang Yi Tai, Wong Hua Po, and there's Dai Hua Ming Gam, and then this is Feng Xiu Cheng here. And then everybody talking about the Red Boat Opera is anti-Qing, right? Now, so what is the history on anti-Qing? The history of anti-Qing is, this is from the Fine Jade Association located in Phat San of Canton, located in the Phat San of Canton. And they are with the Taiping, and they go uprising. Okay, and of course they get banned because they are losing the uprising, they get banned. And you know that over here, how they, you know, this Taiping, they are fighting the Qing, and we can see the situation there. So this is anti-Qing. So the Wing Chun people is in the Red Boat in the 1850s fighting the Qing. So that's why they are anti-Qing. They are with the Taiping. Now, you look at this. After the Fine Jade is shut down, okay, because the people, the actor and so forth is anti-Qing, they with the Taiping and people. So at 1868, the Qing to start another associations. And so this is a Qing start the association. So where is the start? This is in Guangzhou. This is no longer Phat San. This is the Opera Qing Association is at Guangzhou, is not at Phat San. Okay, this is called Pak Wo Wei Gun. This is no longer the King Fa Wei Gun. Now, if you go look at that, this Feng Xiu Cheng, it is belong to the Qing official who is over here, who is actually negotiate with the Taiping and end up betray the promise and kill the war prison. Okay, so now this Feng Xiu Cheng and his Sifu, which is Dai Fa Ming Gam and Lok Gam, these people belong to the Qing. They got nothing to do with the anti-Qing. So in fact, the Feng Xiu Cheng's boss, Feng Xiu Cheng's boss here, who Feng Xiu Cheng follow, is actually the person who is the boss of the person who negotiate with the Taiping and end up and later on betray and kill the war prison. you know, like the side who is lost, you know, like the war prison, and then you capture them, but you don't kill them. But these people, it at first the negotiations not kill all this army, but the end up they go kill the army after they execute the general who say, okay, you kill me, but let my men walk, let them go home. But the Qing do not follow that. They betray that. After they got kill the general and so forth, they capture the general. Okay, now, so why the hell is this Tai Fa Ming Gam and this Feng Xiu Cheng is here in the Wing Chun family tree? All these people is from King Hua Wei Gun, Hassan. This guy is from Gongzhou. This is anti-Qing, like with the Taiping, with the Hong Seng Chai Lei Fat, everybody. This is the Qing. The Qing started this thing. So this is a misleading. How can one accept this type of Wing Chun history? Well, anybody who study history, look closely, will say, you guys are, what are you guys doing? Okay. Now, the thing is this. That's the second thing. So the first thing is the mentality. The second thing is the history. You don't have a proper mentality here. You don't have a proper history here. By evidence, okay? The third thing about this 40 centimeter, that is a martial art categorization there, okay? The martial art categorization today is really clear. This is the Olympic infograph. The Olympic infograph. So in Olympic, if you go judo, this is the infograph. This is karate, this is the infograph. So if it is a judo, it's really clearly that there's a sticking body range less than 40 centimeter distance. Look at all this infograph. That's how judo is played. And if it's karate, you say it's more than a 40 centimeter. You look at how the karate is played. So these are two types of different type of martial arts. Okay, so if you train in judo, your core handling, because your movement is based on your core handling. Now, you have a uniqueness in the core training here. Same thing in karate, you have a uniqueness in the core training because they are different arts. So in today's world, in Olympic, that is scientific area, the entire world know clearly what is the martial art categorizations. Okay. Now, Wing Chun is as this one. Okay. So in the ancient, in the Shaolin writing, you have all this writing here, and it is less than 40 centimeter distance play type of art like this judo here. And it have the characteristic of robbing the angle, you taking his space, or actually it's better to say that this is not taking the space, but you crush his center axis. You imbalance him, you crush his center axis, like this one crushing the center axis. And then you pressure with him with the steps, like this is you pressurize him, you know, you just want him to drop. And then closing to the body. This is the 4 characteristics of Wing Chun. Chong Gok Sek Wai Pek Po My San. And it is described here in the ancient Wing Chun. Well, this is the karate. They are playing more than 40 centimeter distance, more than 40 centimeter distance. Look at the punch, the strike, the kick versus the judo. Okay, now you look at like this is a typical Wing Chun today. Isn't it? We stay in this type of range. It's like blocking and punching. Does the body doing this? Does the body doing this? Getting into an angle, robbing an angle. You want to imbalance his center axis, and then you want to pressurize him, attack his legs, and then you stick to his body, like here. Of course not. This is playing with the hand techniques, and it is this type of stuff for the most. It is not this. So that is the reality. Now, so you see this. Number one, the mindset. Number two, the history. Number three, the martial art categorizations. So do one really know what one is talking about, or just keeping doing this interpretation and everything? One is not even presenting what the Chinese in the ancient is presenting as a Wing Chun anymore. It is up for everybody's imagination. And if you go to Olympic, people look at you and laugh at you. If you don't even know that there's a martial categorizations per like today's Olympic, and you're keeping saying that this is a so-called sticking body, close body fighting, what are you talking about? So this is how bad it is, how bad, how fatal is the misinformation for past 140 years on the mindset, which is not Zen at all, sorry. On the history, sorry. Please separate what is Qing and what is anti-Qing. Don't mess it up. Don't call it anti-Qing, but you have the Qing officials there. It is a sticking body, short strike art, or it is a long distance art. Please make it clear. Otherwise, you're going to get laughed at big time by even the people who just playing Olympic. So this is the thing I like to share with you. If this mess is not cleaned up, well, just please announce that Wing Chun have already bankrupt, because nobody know what is Wing Chun. And stop to saying, oh, my grandmaster saying this grandmaster saying this lineage grandmaster saying this. If all those grandmaster is so good, how come all this past 140 years you have this nonsense go around? You think those who study Buddhism do not know, you have no idea what you're talking about? You think those who study Chinese history don't know that you just clueless? You think that those who compete in Olympic don't know that you just living in a vacuum? You don't even know what is a martial arts. So this is what I like to share with you. Stop to define whatever you don't know. Stop to using the alibi of, oh, you can interpret this way, I can interpret this way, my grandmaster say this, my lineage say that. This is the reality. So we like it or not, this is what it is. Okay? You think that like people like Xi Xiaodong, they could not find this thing out? You think that people in 20 years later, 50 years later cannot find this out? So I leave this for you. Whatever you want to do is your freedom. But at least that now we know clearly what Wing Chun is. So this is what I like to share with you today.